Om Namah Shivaya. Last Sangha was speaking about the fear of death a lot, yes. Fear of death. We're speaking about that you cannot be afraid of what you don't know. You don't know something, you cannot be afraid. For example, I'm afraid of a sickness I don't know. No. I will die of a sickness I don't know. I'm afraid. No, that's not possible. To fear first, you need to know in some way. For example, cancer. Yes, oh, I fear cancer because someone else had cancer. Something happened. So it's the same with death. You fear death is because you experienced death before. And the fear of death is so massive, it's the greatest fear in a person, yes, that evidently it was a bad experience, death, in your previous life. So it's a way to demonstrate that there is a reincarnation, at least one time, because of your fear of dying. You fear so much that it shows that you had the experience before, at least one time. But your fear is so massive that I could say more than one time. That's to leave the body. Nobody dies. You will continue to be alive. Impossible to die for this Shiva. This Shiva. Impossible to die. He will continue to watch from his immensity. So the body dies, but the Spanda, the power of God and God, they never die. He continues all the time. When you are firm in this knowledge, you are liberated. Reincarnation. We're speaking about reincarnation in the book. Some people affirm that there is no reincarnation in the sense that the present life is the only life a person will live. This kind of people is materialistic. As they are identified with their physical bodies, they consider that the disappearance of those bodies marks the end of a person. You are the body dies, you die with the body. This idea of zero reincarnation or only one life bewilders other people who otherwise could have acquired a more real viewpoint about life as a whole. Just because if it's only one life, it's nonsensical. You don't have time to do many things you need to do, to fix things you need to fix. You don't have time. Or some child dies when he's 1 year old, for example, and what is this? What's the point? 1 year and you die. What's the meaning of all this? No, there are more lives, more lifetimes. This is the explanation. Nonsensical concepts are like an infection, and they have power to inflict pain on a great deal of people. We live all the time with nonsensical concepts, all the time. But we never challenge them. We never challenge them to tell, is this real? Now we'll prove that affirming that there is no reincarnation is nonsensical and devoid of any logical basis. How will I do that? By using the concept of fear of death. The presence of fear of death in all the limited individuals is undeniable. All of them are afraid of death, and the ones saying that they don't fear death more. They may say whatever they want before, but when they realize that their lives are in danger, they will fear. That's why the Romans said, remember this saying by the Romans, the ancient Romans, they say, even the bravest men succumb. You know what is succumb? Sucumben in Spanish, succumb to sudden terrors. So even the bravest men succumb, yes, fall to sudden terrors. The average living individual will fight or run for his life if possible. A soldier, even trained to overcome that fear, does feel it anyway. They fear. So fear of death is a very common fact. All the living individuals feel at the precise moment when they realize that their lives are in danger. This is very obvious, right? However, I established beyond doubt that fear of the unknown is an impossible thing, except in the form of a mental formulation based on deduction or testimony from other people. Anyway, as fear of death is so real, so strong, so extreme, so human, etc., I can firmly state that human fear of death is not a mere mental formulation arrived at through deduction or testimony. When the life of a living individual is under threat, he feels a very real and overwhelming fear of death. The only possible explanation for the presence of such a strong level of fear is the following. The person experienced death before, when in a previous life. You understand? This is a way to prove. When someone tells you, no, there is no life, only this is the one life, next will go to heaven or to hell or this, no. Yes, you can go to heaven or to hell, but temporarily. Next you have to return here again. In this way, the existence of at least one previous life is solidly proven. Since this has been proven, reincarnation is also proven, at least one time. Through this process of argumentation, I dissolve the absurd materialistic idea that there is only one life. This foolish idea might look harmless, yes, inocua in Spanish, harmless, no damage coming from this idea. But it has the power to bind a great deal of people to the most stupid way of living. This materialistic idea is consequently a byproduct of a spiritual ignorance, Arnavamala, again. But while it can subjugate so many limited individuals, it cannot subjugate someone who duly uses his brain to reason adequately. That's why to remove Baudagyana, you need knowledge, special knowledge to reason adequately, properly. Now I will speak about crazy theories. This where anything is possible. Crazy theories. The presence of stupid ideas and concepts is a strong influence which keeps the limited individuals in their condition of bondage. The limited individual cannot realize the real reach of those stupid ideas and concepts and how they are able to doom so many people to a life full of errors, pain, and the like. This is why the intellectual ignorance must be dissolved by means of an arduous study of the Parabhairava scriptures. When you read those great treatises, you learn to reason and use your own brain in a proper way. When this happens, such a person is free from all the foolish theories that makes most people captive in an invisible but effective mental prison. Modern science is actually becoming more and more materialistic, all the time with gases, rocks, no intelligence, only gases, rocks, and sun colliding each other like this. Yes. This is the formation of the solar system, gases and rocks and hydrogen exploding and all this story. They don't have the idea of an intelligence creating. You see this, you don't have any idea. All the time the documentaries all the time show gases, rocks, and what else? Some star appear and yes, not created star. No, it's some coincidence of gases and rocks. It's so materialistic that it's stupid. Because if an iPhone appear all of a sudden, you don't say, "Oh, it's a coincidence, an iPhone." Yes, you say, "No, Apple created this iPhone." Yes, it's normal. But with the universe, no, nobody created it. It's only a coincidence of rocks and gases colliding and expanding. Well, it's crazy. Well, this is the intelligence we have in the scientists, average science. Nonetheless, despite the fact that I like how modern science has made my life much more comfortable and how it has made knowledge always at hand via the web, for example, I noted that modern science keeps advancing in fields it's not ready for. This is my personal opinion. While I have no doubt that scientists are very good at making computer chips, observing planets, etc., their present theories about the origin of life are absolutely hilarious. All the time, they cannot explain life. It's very difficult to explain life. How? Because you cannot create life. The only way for you to create life is with life. With the spermatozoan, or how the plural of this, I never remember. Okay. And with the, so difficult, this English word. So you need a life to create life. But you cannot do it with objects, at least till now. You cannot do it with objects. For example, mixing some liquid, some gas, and all of a sudden appear a dinosaur from there. No, that nothing appeared. It's very difficult to explain the origin of life. Yes, you can say that the comets brought life to these planets through the comets. Yes, but the comet from where brought life? So the origin of life as a whole is very difficult to explain without a creator. It's not a coincidence. Yes, more or less a coin. No, it's not so simple. But well, they try to bypass this topic all the time because it's difficult to explain what is this. So I understand as the one trying to trace the origin of life are totally materialistic in thought, they are always using materialistic processes on the earth or coming from the outer space to explain everything. In spite of their effort, these theories cannot precisely explain the origin of life. To affirm, for example, that life came on a comet does not explain the origin of life as a whole. It's just a delay. That is, the scientists try to explain the origin of life on the Earth like that, but not the origin of life as a whole. For example, if someone says that life came to the Earth on a comet, he will have to explain how life managed to jump on that comet, and even what happened before that. This is impossible to explain through materialistic means only. This is the reason why modern scientists cannot even satisfactorily explain the origin of life. The problem is not some guys who attempt to show that the absolutely superb divine life is coming from some rock of the outer space or from a soup of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, etc. The real problem is that they are spreading more and more those mad ideas through all the media. This is the problem. They are even considered to be prestigious scientists, fully fit for tracing the origin of life by means of mere matter. This materialistic idea is the everlasting product of false identification with the physical body. As so many people think that they are their physical bodies, as they are prone to tracing their origin through material processes only. By establishing the origin of life through material processes, modern science is entering into a field it's not fit for. Meanwhile, so many people will become even more deluded than before. It is as if one wanted to explain the manufacturing of CPUs by means of philosophy. Fancy ladies, crazy. There are different fields While modern science is very good at everything related to matter, it performs horribly at things related to spirituality. Life is, therefore, in its essence, spiritual and not material. It's spiritual. For example, a chair in front of a mirror cannot see itself. A chair. You put a chair in front of a mirror and the chair cannot see itself, but you can see your body. So you are different from your body. You are different from matter. That's why you detect your body there. You are conscious. This consciousness in you is spiritual. It's not materialistic. Come from tattvas, elevated tattvas. Beyond the matter. Matter starts with Maya at the beginning and next advance to Prakriti. Tattva 13. So in the first five tattvas, there is no matter. It's spiritual. To say something, because how to define what is that? Spiritual, divine. It's not materialistic. If someone says that life is only material, he will have to explain the difference between a living body and a dead body, only through material processes. This could look like a trifle, but no materialistic person can explain that satisfactorily. Why? Because to do so, he will have to resort to something else. Sooner or later, he will arrive at something else. And this is not material. It's eternal, divine. As a result, the state of being exclusively materialistic is the exclusive property of a fool. You are a fool, you are exclusively materialistic. Only a fool in the whole sense of word could be constantly attempting to bypass the spiritual side of reality. If life is just material, what's the point of worrying about your family? It's only material. You worry about objects around. Okay, you worry about your family like objects. They are mere descendants of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Or they are just descendants of bacteria that came on a comet a long time ago. Why all that fuss then? Why all this problem with family? Why we are so attached to family? Yes, they are only bacteria coming on a comet. You understand that it's ridiculous to speak like this. We love our sons, our cats, no, they are only rocks colliding, yes, and gases. No, they are alive. They are divine. That's why we love them. We love Shiva in them. We love spirit in them. That's why Yajnavalkya, the sage in Upanishad, in Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, he said, when we love other people, we really love our own self. So we love Shiva, our own self in people. People treat their relatives as if they were divine in general. Mothers could even give their own lives for their children. But how is this possible if their children are just some ultra-evolved bacterium or something like that? It's even my beloved Chopin, and his extraordinary ballades a product of a soup of four elements: carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. Is human love the result of a lot of rocks crashing into this planet? If modern science, crazy materialistic theories about the origin of life are true, why all that fuss about life in humankind then? Why are the criminals so severely punished for killing other people if life is just a material question? What's the problem? Therefore, the divine origin of life is proven by showing the incoherence between the materialistic theories about it and the facts occurring in real life. You do not love the descendants of bacteria traveling on rocks, or the beings that came out of a soup of four elements and so on. You love the self in them. As the self is completely spiritual, he's not at all material. The origin of life as a whole can never be traced by material processes. I had to explain this to morons only, yes, in this world, because how to explain this? It's so obvious. In ancient times, man was wiser than now. So to them was obvious that life is not material, it's spirit. But now we have to explain to people because they are so misguided by modern science that they are like this. It would be like affirming that a person is beautiful because his body is beautiful. The person is not his body, and this is why a beautiful body does not necessarily mean a beautiful person. This is very elementary, isn't it? Apart from that, when the body dies, when the person leaves the body is ugly, becomes ugly and uglier and uglier till it's completely rotten. So is the person inside the body. Look at the thing I had to explain to you. Yes. Is the person inside the body, Shiva. Ah, Lena, hello. I didn't see. Is the person inside the body who makes that body beautiful. For example, Lena. Yes, Lena, this body is beautiful because she's inside the body. The soul. Duha. How is Duha? Dusha. How to say in Russian?
Душа.
Dusha. The Dusha, the soul in her, is making her beautiful. When she dies in the future, the body will be ugly, alone. Only for some time with some makeup, yes, they can keep the body beautiful, but only a few hours. Now it starts to become ugly and ugly, and you want to remove the body. Yes, when she was alive, Lena, her body was desirable. Oh my God, she's so beautiful. I want that body for me. But when she's dead, the body, nobody wants the body. They try to hide the body. Yes, they put in a coffin the body and hide under earth. How is in earth? They bury in earth, so they put in some place to hide the body because it's very ugly. So is the soul, is the person divine, making the body beautiful. Understand? So when you want a body, you don't want the body, you want the person. It's so elementary, this. Okay, but some people cannot understand this yet. It's not the body. For example, my beautiful body is desirable because I'm inside. If I'm not inside, it's not desirable. It's obvious. That's why in the wake, when people are with the body in the coffin, they're the dead body, start to smell bad. They want to close, remove the body. They don't want the body. It's only a few hours and nothing else. They want the body. Escape from the body. It's taboo, the dead body. In our society, it's taboo, the dead body. They try to hide. In other societies, no, they keep the body for a long time. It depends on the society. Okay. So it's Lena is divine. So the divine Lena is what we love in her. It's the same with every person. It's not the body. Okay. All in all, I can affirm that the origin of life cannot be discovered by studying matter, materia, inert matter, materia inerte. We cannot discover the origin of life. Life is alive, analyzing matter. Matter is dead. Why? Because the self, Shiva, is spiritual, it's alive. As a result, if modern science is determined to go this material way in order to explain the origin of life, I can assure you that modern science will become another indomitable agent of spiritual ignorance. If they continue like this, it will be an agent of spiritual ignorance. This is not good news to the rest of people, of course. Will be the materialistic society completely. In the past, religious theories about the position of the earth in the universe, etc., were taken seriously. Yes, in the past you said, what is the earth? At the center of the universe, the earth was a serious idea. Yes, in the West was like this. Now they look absurd, this idea, yes, that the earth is at the center of the universe. But at that time was real. In the same way, the present scientific theories about the origin of life are being taken seriously, but they're absurd anyway. So it's about time for people to realize how stupid those theories are. Nevertheless, a person who is a fortunate possessor of an intellect that thinks properly can see their inherent stupidity right now. A mark of a person in bondage is his taking all the usual ideas and concepts for granted. So he never think about them. He takes them for granted. Da por sentado, we say in Spanish. Da por sentado. He gives for sitting, is the logic in Spanish. He gives for sitting. So he thinks that it's like this. He never thinks deep about this topic. Deep. A few people in the world think deeply. A few people. Most of them are thinking shallow. When you think deeply, for example, who are you? Go to the mirror, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, yes, who are you? Mister. The mystery of your existence. It's a mystery. So instead of waking up every morning with boo 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 boo, just like the Liena, the baby, boo 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 boo. Instead of waking up like this, yes, boo boo boo, she's like this, boo 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 boo. So you have to wake up with the mystery of your existence in the morning. Yes, in the mirror, watch yourself. Why? Another day, but what does it mean that you are alive? Who is this guy? Who is this person? Mister. Instead of boo 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 or protesting, oh, another day, oh no, I had to work. After a short investigation of some of these usual ideas and concepts, the sadhakas, the spiritual aspirants, will realize that such ideas are quite a monument to human foolishness. Consequently, those stupid ideas and concepts should be shunned. You know what is shun? Shun. To push aside. Shun. Evitar. Avoid. Should be avoided completely in order to keep advancing on the spiritual path, or they will become stones in your shoes. Stones in your shoes is educated. How is it in common speech? Pain in the ass. These ideas will become. Another chapter in the book, learning to think rightly, using one's own intellect properly. How to think about topics deeply, not shallow, in a shallow way, shallowly. Shallow is not deep. Deep is deep, yes, and shallow is shallow, not deep, like this. In the case of those who attain spiritual enlightenment, they can understand each other perfectly. It's impossible for them, for example, to have a war against each other. No. War exists in the humankind in ignorance. War doesn't exist in humankind in enlightenment. Can you imagine Jesus Christ fighting, I don't know, fascist? No, doesn't exist. There was a special war in the past, the Mahayuddha. Yes, the Yuddha in Sanskrit is war. The Mahayuddha or Mahabharata between sages, but it's a special war at that time between Krishna, Arjuna, and the Kurus, and all this story. But in general, no, sages, they don't have war against each other. They cannot fight each other because they understand each other. For example, you don't understand each other. If I say, what's the meaning of New Year to you? Everyone will say something different. To me, New Year means this. To me, New Year means that. To me, New Year is this. To me, New Year is to be with family. To me, New Year is to be alone. To me, New Year is this. To me, so no. So you cannot understand each other because the language is wrong. Because the language is wrong, it's not enough. Not only English, Spanish, to all the vulgar, vulgar, vulgar. Let me check. So I have a confusion. Vulgar. All the vulgar languages like Spanish, English, Hindi, Portuguese, Hungarian, all these languages, Russian, are imperfect. So you don't have exact terminology for what you want to mean by something. For example, love. What is love? We love million concepts of love. But for example, in some systems like Fourth Way, for example, Gurdjieff teachings, for example, there is the love of the man number one, there is the love of the man number two, there is the love of the man number three, number four, number five, number six, number seven, different kinds of love. So through this terminology, you can understand better what is love. It depends on the kind of man you are. Your number three, love is like a theory. It's a theory because you are very intellectual, yes. So you don't feel love emotionally. For you, love is a theory. Love number one is animal love. Love of man number one, because man number one is instinctive. It's like animal. Number two is emotional. Is a man of poetry, for example. So love to him is another thing. It's a poetry. It's full of romantic things. Yes. So it depends on the man. Love of man number four is more, it's love in equilibrium, because in him there is an equilibrium between all his chakras. So emotion is not predominating, intellect is not predominating, instinct is not predominating. The love of the man number five is the love of a man who attained unity. He's one. He has one eye. We cannot understand this love. Love of man number six is the man who is number five, but who that attain all possible knowledge to a human being, for a human being. This is the love of man number six. And love of man number seven is a man number seven is a man number six, but stable. That he cannot lose anything forever. He's eternal. We cannot understand this kind of love. It's the love of a great sage for humankind. We cannot understand. It's not the selfish love of a man number one, all the time attached to only one person. No, it's love expansive. With this vocabulary, this special terminology, we can understand love in a better way, yes. But with our language, love only, with this only word, we cannot understand each other. Like this for everything. What is rodina? Rodina is patria in Spanish. What is patria? What is a country? No, in English, country is not patria. What is patria in English? Country is país in English.
Motherland is Rodina.
Motherland, mother country, homeland, fatherland, mother country, homeland. So what's the meaning of homeland? You are a coward. Homeland means nothing to you. I don't care. You are a brave soldier. Homeland is your life. It depends on the person. So you cannot understand each other because the word rodina, homeland, patria in Spanish is one. But it depends on the level of men. Number one, number two, number three, number four, number five, number six, and number seven. Different concepts of homeland. Maybe for the number seven, there is no homeland because he's universal. His home is the universe. So what homeland? Or maybe not. He's the opposite. He's fanatic about home. Nobody knows. But different words, different concepts. That's why we cannot understand each other. That's why when you have a relationship with another person, whatever relationship, friend, boyfriend, girlfriend, mother, father, whatever relationship, you have a lot of problems because you cannot understand each other. That person cannot understand you and you cannot understand that person. This is all the problem you have. Why? Because matrika, the power in the letters, dominate all the relationships. Maya, matrika is Maya. That's why you say someone, I love you, and that person tells you, I love you too, but nobody understands each other because they feel love in a different way. However, я люблю тебя, я тебя тоже in Russian. Well, it's all the time they say this, but it's different to every person. It's different. That's why this lack of understanding is typical on the humankind in ignorance. Escape from humankind in ignorance. Don't be like them. People who attain liberation already, they can understand each other perfectly. They have no problem with understanding the self and his power, Shiva and Shakti, because all of them do realize him. So if I know my real I know your real I. And if I know that you know, and you know that I know, there is full understanding. There are no two real I's, it's only one. So it's perfect understanding. Problems come up when one of those people has to explain the truth about Shiva and Shakti to a person who does not have self-realization yet. The problem for those enlightened people is how to explain to the people, common people, self-realization. This is the problem. They have to use words, and words are controlled by Maya, by this dualistic energy. This is the problem. So it's like the story of the frog in the well. You know what is a well? Well is a hole in the earth, a well. So there was a well, a hole in the earth, and at the bottom of this hole with water, there are two frogs. And one of them frog, by chance, traveled to the ocean. So was telling the other frog, what was the ocean like? So the frog that didn't go to the ocean asked him, what is the ocean like? And the other frog say, it's big. So the first frog asked, like this well, like this hole we are living now? No, bigger. Like 2 wells. No, bigger. Like 3 wells. Forever, yes, 4 wells, five. No, it's impossible to compare. So what is self-realization like? Like my state, but better? No. Much better? No. Super better? No. No. It's not like your state better. It's another state. It's difficult to explain. It's like two frogs. One saw the ocean and cannot explain, and the other all the time comparing with the well, comparing with what he knows in limited life. In order to accomplish that difficult mission, the liberated person has to find a way to do it adequately. Such a person is called guru, a spiritual teacher. What one cannot be a fully accomplished guru without some degree of self-realization. As I explained before, a person who realizes the self is able not to associate his real I with mind and physical body. He can separate, broadly speaking. In this way, what is happening to mind and physical body is perceived as not happening to himself really. You understand? Your body has a pain, but you don't have that pain. It's difficult to understand. Your mind is sad, but you are not sad. Separate. So the liberated person can understand this to a certain extent, or to a full extent, depends on his degree of liberation. If you are like Jesus Christ, congratulations. So you can understand, fully understand. There are different degrees of liberation. That's why when disciples are with several gurus, sometimes some disciples have the fortune, yes, to be with several gurus. For example, the guru of your guru, they are alive, he's still alive or she's still alive. So sometimes some disciples say, oh, my guru is like a lamp in the middle of darkness. This is for Muktananda. For example, my case, Muktananda is like a lamp in the middle of darkness to me. By Bhagavan Nityananda, oh, he's like the sun. This to me is my opinion. He's like the sun. Yes, disciples usually say this. And why? Because different degrees of liberation. In my opinion, Bhagavan Nityananda had a greater degree of liberation than my Guru Muktananda. This is my opinion. Greater penetration into Nila Bindu, into the blue dot, into the Spirit of God. Mm. On the contrary, a limited individual, as he continues with the association of his real I with mind and physical body, considers all that is occurring to these two to be occurring to himself. All the time like this. While this identification with mind and physical body is kept, one is a limited individual. When it's removed, at least for 1 second, one is an enlightened person, a liberated one. At least for 1 second. This is very simple to understand. Like a teacher of Fourth Way told me in the past, you have to escape completely from your machinery. Completely. The machinery of mind and body. Completely. Separate. Separate from what is good in you, in your mind and in your body, and from what is bad in your mind and in your mind. Separate. You are not that. You are conscious. Shiva, pure conscious. He's like this. In himself. He watches things happening, but he's all the time. He sees and he doesn't see. He sees all your life. He's filming all your life. That's why before dying, you see your whole life completely. Why? Because when you are about to abandon the body to die, your identification with the body gets loosened. It's loose. It's not so strong. It's weaker. So knowledge expands. Your knowledge is little because you are identified with your body. When you are not identified with your body, at the time of dying, little by little, you are abandoning the body, knowledge expands and you see your whole life in one instant. Because all what the camera film is recorded. You will see everything. Because it's one instant to him. So this Shiva is your entire lifetime is one instant. Anyway, the mystery. When you are happy, he's happy with you. When you are sad, he's sad with you. Strange. When you are doing bad actions, he's supporting you. When you are doing good actions, he's supporting you too. Mysterious. He's like this, supreme. He is and he's not. He's with you and he's absent. It's mysterious. This is the real you. When you are angry, he's angry. But at the same time, he's like indifferent. Mysterious. You have to go for this mystery to him every day when you look in the mirror, yourself in the mirror. This mystery. Who is this guy? Obviously, the condition of a limited being is not desirable one. It's not a desirable one. Why? Because he's at the mercy of all that happens to his mind and physical body. In other words, he has his happiness tied to the dance of the external circumstances. According to what happened outside, he feels. Boo, 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 like Liena, yes, boo, 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 because something happened outside. Sad. Or happy, because something good happened. Happy. It's all the time like this. So it's not good to live like this. I know that this is normal life and people accept it like normal life, but it's sick. Sickness. When sickness is common, it's normal. Sickness. For example, to have your mind the whole day on without stopping is sickness. You don't need to live with your mind on the whole day. Blah, 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 blah. It's sickness. You can stop it, at least for 1 second. And to live without this, you read a little about human history. I recommend you to read a little, only because a lot is bad for the digestion. You will understand that your fate can change in the twinkling of an eye. Now you are happy with your family and thriving, prospering, yes, with money. And next you are going to hell on earth. Some bombing by someone. Why is this happening? It's the way Shiva decides to become manifested on this planet through his Shakti. You are unfortunate enough as to keep the association between your real I, the self, and mind, physical body. You are in real trouble because you move with the circumstances. Now you are happy, now you are unhappy. Most people are in this wretched condition, but most of them still do not notice it. They think that it's normal life to live like this. In this sense, and only in this sense, pain is necessary in life. Without pain, one will never wake up and look for a way out of his dangerous state of bondage. Even with pain being present the whole time, you can see that a massive number of people still insist on living foolishly, like fools. That is, on indulging in sense pleasures, on being full of vain hopes, on desiring more money, etc. They are also the way he decides to become manifested in this world, like these fools. When you desire something, someone can control you, or something can control you. If you desire money, someone can use you, yes, for you to have money. If you desire power, someone can control you. If you desire nothing, nobody can control you. But how not to desire anything? Oh, well, this is the mystery. You need the help of Shiva. There is no other way. Without grace, you cannot do it. It's impossible. Why people are so negative? My son dies, yes? So I'm so sad. My son dies. It's understandable. You are sad because your son dies. But why you live sad your whole life? Sickness. And they are proud to live like this. Oh, since my son dies 35 years ago, yes, I could never be happy. And they are proud. What is this sickness? No, it's sickness. You can't be happy again. You are sad only a short time. You understand? But you see people proud. When I was reading, my life is broken forever. What kind of thought it is? Forever. Why? So it's negative. Most people are negative. They don't want to be happy. And with a negative person, you cannot discuss because he will be all the time right. Impossible to discuss with negative people. It's invincible argument. They have all the time some pretext to be negative. My son died. I'm sad. For a few months, not for years, decades, centuries. No, life continues. Life flows. You can be happy. You can remember, but you can be happy. My mother died 9 years ago, more than 9 years ago, yes, but I continued happy. I'm not dead. Oh, my life is broken forever. Well, my life is broken now because I have a wife. But anyway, I cannot continue with the sadness from 2013 when my mother died. It's sick. As I continue with the sadness, oh, but a lot of people behave like this and they are proud. Some bomb. They are proud of it. Proud. We're sad. No, it's sick. Your real nature is happiness, not sadness. Your real nature is ananda, happiness, bliss. Any way you are sad like this is the way he decides to manifest, to become manifested in this world. Now, there are some people who do realize that they are in danger in their moronic state of limitation if their moronic state of limitation continues untouched. These are the spiritual aspirants. There are different levels of spiritual aspirants, as I pointed out before, from awesome to dull disciples. I still have to see awesome disciples. Still, I put awesome like a good hope. Some of them are even so confused that they start to follow a teacher who is infatuated enough as to say that the self is far away in the outer space. There are teachers, or deep inside the earth and things like that. There are teachers coming in a how in flying saucer to the earth. This the self is coming. You know this before. The Messiah is coming. The self is the Messiah. The Messiah people are waiting for is the self. Shiva is the way he projects the self, not in them. No, in a Messiah coming, in a flying source, extraterrestrial guy. And so when the disciples are completely like this, yes, they follow a bad teacher like that. Those false gurus are very often also spiritual aspirants who are very often also spiritual aspirants who, in their despair, went mad and began to invent strange theories about the self of all. The power of spiritual ignorance is never to be underestimated. Unfortunately, this cannot be changed at all. It's the way he decides to appear in this world, as I mentioned above. People who want to change the entire world are not properly aware of what they are saying or facing. They are lunatics, sick. You cannot change the whole world. No. Nonetheless, one can realize the self in himself if he makes the necessary efforts under the guidance of a true guru. You can do something in you. This you can. As a result, the gift of my teaching will always be removing the identification between the real I and mind body, and not about how to turn the world into a real paradise. My teachings are not about transforming this foolish world into a real paradise. The gift, the essence of my teaching is to remove the identification between your real I and body and mind. This is the essence of my teaching. Okay, for today is enough. Next satsanga will continue in page, I'm controlling the time, in page 59. 59, my age, 59, in page 59. Next satsanga. Okay, see you soon. Om Namah Shivaya.